Title: I saved a coworker from choking, and she tried to ruin my life. Stalker, lies, and a 12-month restraining order. Hey Reddit, I don't even know where to start with this because honestly, I still feel like I'm living in someone else's nightmare. I've been lurking here for years, mostly for the drama and creepy stories, but I never thought I'd be typing up something like this myself. My name's Brian, I'm 25, and I work at a mid-sized marketing company. Nothing glamorous, mostly spreadsheets, meetings, and the occasional pitch that actually gets my blood pumping. A little bit of background before I get into the insanity. 2 weeks ago, my girlfriend Emily, 24, left me. We've been living together for almost 2 years, and she just packed her stuff one day while I was at work, left the key on the counter, and texted me that she was sorry. No big blowout fight, no I need space conversation. Just gone. I can't describe how gut-punched I felt walking into our apartment and seeing her closet empty, toothbrush missing, her half of the bed stripped. I had to sit on the couch for like an hour because I couldn't even process it. So, that's where my head's been at. I've been dragging myself through work, avoiding awkward conversations with coworkers who notice my mood nosedive, and try not to think about Emily every second of the day. Now, enter Sarah. She's 28, works in a different department, creative side. I'm more on the account management side. I'd seen her around before. She's one of those people who walks into a room and you notice because she has this presence. Not in a friendly, oh she's bubbly way, more like the kind of person who stares just a little too long and always seems to know more than she should. We'd exchanged maybe a hi in passing, but that's it. Last week, I was in the break room grabbing coffee when it all started. A couple people were eating lunch, and Sarah was there too, chatting with someone from her team. I wasn't paying attention until I heard this weird choking noise. At first, I thought she was laughing too hard, but when I looked up, her face was turning red. People froze. No one did anything. I dropped my coffee and ran over, instinct just kicking in. I'm not a hero or anything, but I did CPR training at my old job, so I went through the motions. She was actually choking, like real deal, hand around her throat, couldn't breathe. I got behind her, did the Heimlich, and eventually she coughed up a piece of food. Everyone clapped awkwardly, and she staggered to a chair. She looked at me like I'd just proposed marriage or something. Wide eyes, trembling hands, weird little smile. That alone would have been unsettling enough. But then she leaned closer and whispered, "You like being pressed up against me, didn't you?" I froze. My brain short-circuited. I just stared at her like, what? Out loud, I managed no. I was literally saving your life. She tilted her head, smile turning sharp. Don't lie. It's okay. I get it. That's when I blurted, I have a girlfriend. It was pure reflex. Emily had just left, and the thought of being accused of enjoying something so messed up had me scrambling for a shield. Her face changed instantly. Smile gone. Eyes cold. She hissed, I didn't know you were a liar. Liars should be punished. Then she stood up, smoothed her skirt, and walked out like nothing happened. I thought I'd misheard. Maybe she was embarrassed and lashing out. I tried to shake it off. But by the next day, I knew it wasn't nothing. Jake, 25, my coworker and friend, pulled me aside. He had that look on his face like he didn't want to say what he was about to. He told me that people in the office were whispering that I'd gotten a little too handsy during the choking incident. That Sarah had been upset about it afterward. I laughed, thinking it was a bad game of telephone. Then I saw her across the hall, whispering to a group of people, glaring at me when our eyes met. That night, I got a text from an unknown number. Hey Brian, I'll take you up on your offer to clear the air. I stared at my phone, confused. I never made any offer. I texted back, I think you have a wrong number. Also, please stop spreading rumors about me. How did you even get my number? Her response came quick. I have my ways. Then nothing. Radio silence. I sat there in my apartment, staring at the phone like it was about to explode. I hadn't given her my number. I'd never had a real conversation with her. And yet, here she was, acting like we had some sort of deal. Hence, this post asking for advice. I know I need to document everything, avoid her, and if it escalates, go to HR. Maybe this is karma for laughing at others, Yandera, or Stage 5 clinger posts, but honestly, I'm freaked out. What should I do? I don't want to lose my job, and I'm not sure that she's capable of it since she has my cell phone number. Any advice would be appreciated. Update 1. Unfortunately, some of your predictions were spot on, and I'm in an even worse position than I was before. 2 days after the incident that Jake calls the resuscitation from hell, paved with good intentions, I got an email from HR asking me to come in. My stomach dropped. The second I saw Sarah sitting in the conference room, arms crossed, smirking, I knew. HR told me they'd received complaints that I'd been obsessed with Sarah for months, that I tried to corner her in our apartment complex. Wait, what? I don't even talk to her. And apparently, she told them that I'd been sending her creepy messages after the break room incident. I denied everything, obviously. Then HR pulled out a printed thread of messages. My stomach flipped. According to these messages, I'd been begging Sarah to talk to me. There were paragraphs about how our moment in the break room was fate, how she couldn't resist me, and even one where I threatened her if she ignored me. It was all fake. None of it came from me. I pulled out my own phone, showed them my text with her, just the one thread from the unknown number where I shut her down. But HR just looked uncomfortable. They said it was my word against hers. I was officially placed on work-from-home status until the investigation was complete. I walked back to my desk in a daze, grabbed my laptop, and left. My coworkers avoided eye contact. I saw Sarah standing by the elevator, smiling, just smiling. When I got home, I sat at my desk and tried to focus on work, but every few minutes, I checked the blinds. At one point, I glanced out the window and nearly jumped out of my chair. Sarah was in the parking lot, directly below my apartment. She was staring up at my window. I froze. She didn't move, just stood there with that same small smile. My hands shook as I fumbled with my phone, trying to take a picture, proof that this was happening. But when I looked back out the window, she was gone. Seconds later, my phone buzzed with another text from an unknown number. I know you lied about having a girlfriend, but if you can make it up to me, I'll call off the investigation. My blood went cold. The breakup with Emily had been private. I hadn't told anyone at work. So not only was she watching me, but she somehow knew about my personal life. I didn't respond. I couldn't. My mind was racing. That night, I lay awake in bed, staring at the ceiling, wondering how I'd gone from being a guy who saved a coworker's life to being accused of stalking, harassed in my own apartment, and blackmailed over something I didn't do. So, Reddit, I ask again, what the hell do I do now? Update 2. All right, Reddit. Buckle up because things went from this is creepy to this could ruin my entire life in less than a week. After that text about making it up to her, I did what everyone told me to. I ignored it. I screenshotted it, backed it up, and tried to focus on work from home. Easier said than done when every shadow outside makes you wonder if you're being watched. 2 days later, HR emailed me again asking for clarification about my communications with Sarah. I repeated my side of the story, sent them screenshots of the real texts, and explained that she must have faked the messages they showed me. They gave me a polite but vague response about how they take all concerns seriously. Translation, we still don't believe you. That night, I was pacing around my apartment when my phone buzzed. Unknown number again. Why are you ignoring me? We both know what we felt in that moment. Stop pretending. I didn't answer. A few minutes later, another. If you keep rejecting me, I'll have to tell them everything. Don't make me do that. My hands were sweating. My brain couldn't even process what everything meant. She was already telling HR that I'd been stalking her and sending her love letters. What else could she possibly make up? Against my better judgment, I asked her what she wanted. She didn't reply that night. The next morning, Jake, my friend at work, called me. He sounded nervous. He said Sarah had been going around telling people that she caught me hanging around the apartment gym late at night, waiting for her, that I'd been leaving notes on her car. All lies. Jake said people were starting to believe her because she was so convincing. I don't know if you've ever felt your reputation slipping away while you're powerless to stop it, but it's like drowning. Every time I thought I'd hit bottom, something else pulled me deeper. And then came the moment where, against all of Reddit's advice, I made what was probably the dumbest decision of my life. I agreed to meet her. Before you jump on me, hear me out. I was desperate. My job was on the line. My reputation was in shambles. HR wasn't taking me seriously. And Sarah kept hinting that if I made it up to her, she'd back off. So I thought, maybe if I just confront her in public, I can get her to admit the truth. So I texted the number. Let's meet for coffee. Tomorrow. Public place. She replied instantly. I knew you'd come around. Red heart. My stomach turned. The next morning, I picked a coffee shop near the office. Figured the more public, the better. I got there early, sat at a table in full view of everyone, and set my phone on record just in case. She walked in 10 minutes late, dressed like she was going on a date. Hair done, heels clicking on the tile, lipstick perfect. She smiled at me like we were longtime lovers reuniting. Brian, she breathed, sliding into the chair across from me. You look even better than I imagined. I cut straight to it. Why are you telling people I've been harassing you? None of that is true. Her smile faltered. Oh, Brian, don't be like that. You don't have to hide your feelings anymore. I don't have feelings for you, I said, trying to keep my voice steady. I want you to stop spreading lies about me. Her eyes narrowed. Lies? You think what we have is a lie. I stared at her. We don't have anything. That's when she leaned in, voice dropping. You don't understand. The universe put us together. I've known it since the first time I saw you in our building. You walked right past me in the lobby like I was invisible. Do you know how that felt? And then you saved me. You held me in your arms. That was fate, Brian. My throat went dry. What are you talking about? She smiled again, dreamy, far away. Do you know why your girlfriend left you? Ice ran through my veins. What do you mean? She looked pleased with herself. Because of me. I told her the truth, that we were in love, that I was pregnant with your baby, that she was standing in the way of destiny. I showed her messages, proof of all the awful things you said about her. I blinked. My mind couldn't even process it. You what? Her eyes lit up. She didn't want to believe me at first. But when I showed her what you wrote, how you said she was boring, how you wanted to start a family with me instead, she couldn't deny it. She left you because she didn't want to break up what we have. I sat there numb. My ears were ringing. Emily left me because of Sarah? Because of fake messages? Sarah reached for my hand across the table. See? It all makes sense. That's why I choked that day. I didn't mean to. I was trying to get your attention, but the food really got stuck. But it worked. You came to me. You saved me. That was the moment we both knew. I jerked my hand back. You're insane. Her smile cracked. Don't call me that. You ruined my relationship. You've been stalking me. You're lying to HR. And now you're sitting here telling me it's fate. She slammed her hands on the table. Because it is fate. You're just too scared to admit it. You think it matters what people at work say? Let them gossip. None of it matters because the universe already decided. We're supposed to be together. My heart was pounding. I said, you need help. Real help. Because this is delusional. Her face twisted. If you reject me, Brian, I'll tell everyone you forced me to come here that you attacked me. Who do you think they'll believe? You, the creep, or me, the poor woman you've been harassing? She grabbed her own wrists and squeezed hard until her knuckles turned white. These will bruise nicely. I stood up, shaking, and held up my phone. I've been recording this entire conversation. For a split second, her eyes went wide with panic. Then her face contorted with fury. She lunged across the table, knocking over coffee cups and sugar packets, reaching for my throat. The smell hit me first, the perfume Emily used to wear. On her. I stumbled back, my chair crashing to the floor. Sarah clawed at me, screaming, How could you do this to me? After everything I've done for you? No one will ever love you like I do. Not even her. Other patrons jumped in, pulling her off me. I scrambled to my feet, heart racing, scratches burning on my arms. People were already pulling out their phones, recording. The barista called the cops. Sarah alternated between wailing, He's my boyfriend, it's just a fight, and shrieking, He's a stalker, he attacked me. When the police arrived, I played them my recording. Other people showed theirs, too. They arrested her on the spot. I stood outside afterward, shaking, covered in spilled coffee and scratches, trying to wrap my head around what had just happened. Sarah wasn't just spreading rumors. She wasn't just harassing me. She was obsessed, delusional, dangerous. I'm on my way to file a police report now. But so many people have shared their own similar stories and have been asking for updates. So I will update if anything else happens. I want to thank everyone for all of their comments, even the rude ones. Sharing what has happened has really helped me process this nightmare. Update 3. So, Reddit, after the coffee shop incident, I thought the worst was over. I figured, She's been arrested. There are recordings, witnesses, even a police report. What more could she do? Spoiler a lot. After the cops took Sarah away, one officer advised me to file for a restraining order. He said, guys like you end up ignoring warning signs until it's too late. Don't wait until she's pounding on your door at midnight. The word stuck in my head, mostly because that's exactly the kind of thing Sarah would do. The next morning, I called my boss, James. I told him everything, every detail from the fake text to the coffee shop attack. I even emailed him the recording. He listened quietly, then sighed. Brian, I'm sorry. We should have taken you more seriously from the beginning. HR called me a few hours later, apologized, and officially reinstated me. They said I could work from home or come into the office, whichever made me more comfortable. But honestly, the damage was already done. Word had spread. Some of my coworkers avoided me, whispering behind their hands when I passed. Others gave me awkward half-smiles, like they weren't sure if I was a creep or a victim. I could feel the weight of judgment in every hallway. That night, I did what I probably should have done weeks earlier. I called Emily. When she picked up, her voice was shaky. Brian, yeah, it's me. I told her everything, from Sarah's lies to the coffee shop meltdown. Silence stretched on the other end. Then Emily started crying. I can't believe I fell for it, she whispered. She told me you were cheating. She showed me screenshots. Said you were calling me boring, that you wanted to be with her. I was so stupid, Brian. I thought I was saving myself from a guy who didn't love me. I closed my eyes, gripping the phone tight. You didn't even ask me? She sobbed. I didn't know how. It looked so real. And when she said she was pregnant, her voice broke. I panicked. I just packed up and left. I wanted to be angry. I was angry. But hearing her cry, knowing she'd been manipulated too, my anger turned into something messy. Hurt, betrayal, love tangled together. She begged me to take her back. Said she'd do anything to fix what she broke. But I couldn't just forget the fact that she believed a stranger over me. I need space, I told her. I can't just go back to normal after this. We hung up, both crying. For a couple days, things were quiet. I documented every weird text from unknown numbers, saved them, but didn't respond. I thought maybe she'd stay away while she was dealing with the arrest. Nope. Emily reached out again a few days later. She said Sarah had been texting her nonstop. Completely delusional stuff. Messages like, how does it feel knowing Brian chose both of us? He'll never stop loving me. You'll always be the other woman. Our baby is the proof we're meant to be a family. Emily sent me screenshots. My stomach dropped. This wasn't just obsession. It was full-blown delusion. There was no baby. But Sarah wrote about it like it was real, weaving it into every message. That's when Emily suggested we talk to her family's friend, Mrs. Chun. She's a lawyer, mid-40s, no nonsense, the kind of woman who makes you sit up straighter when she walks into a room. We explained everything to her, showed her the texts, the police report, the recordings. She didn't even blink. You both need restraining orders, she said firmly, and you need to file immediately. That same afternoon, Sarah decided to up the ante. I was back in the office for the first time since being reinstated, trying to keep my head down, pretending things were normal. Around lunch, security got a call. Sarah had shown up at the front desk, demanding to speak to me. When they told her she wasn't allowed on the premises, she screamed, loud enough that people in the lobby could hear. She started shouting about our baby, clutching her stomach like she was about to give birth right there. The whole building froze. Employees crowded the windows to watch. My phone started blowing up with texts from Jake. Dude, she's here. She's screaming about being pregnant. Security's calling the cops. By the time I made it to James's office, Sarah was outside being dragged away, kicking and wailing like she was in a soap opera. James turned to me, pinching the bridge of his nose. Brian, I owe you an apology. I didn't want to believe any of this, but now, he sighed, take the next few days off. Paid. Handle your restraining order. Word spread like wildfire. And here's the kicker. One of the women in Sarah's department apparently told everyone that on Sarah's last day in the office before she was let go, she'd asked for a tampon. So yeah, pretty hard to be pregnant if you're still having your period. People started realizing she was lying. Colleagues who had avoided me came up, awkwardly apologizing for doubting me. One woman said, I thought you were creepy for a minute there, but, God, she's unhinged. I should have felt vindicated. Instead, I just felt exhausted, like all the air had been punched out of me. That night, Emily and I sat on the couch, our laptops open, filling out restraining order paperwork. She kept apologizing every 5 minutes, tears in her eyes, and I kept telling her to focus. By the end of the night, we had everything submitted. Mrs. Chun says that if her lawyer is worth his salt, he will advise her to stay away from us once she is served. We are praying that she is right, but things are tense, and I'm still waiting for the other shoe to drop. The look in her eyes at the coffee shop was completely feral, but I'm hoping the threat of consequences keeps her away. Update 4. I finally let myself believe that once Sarah was arrested at the coffee shop and the restraining orders were filed, everything would finally settle. I imagined life returning to some kind of normal. Work would stop being a minefield, Emily and I could start talking normally again, and the nightmare that had taken over my life could finally end. I couldn't have been more wrong. Even after the trial, she didn't stop entirely. I caught her once following my car, and I drove straight to the police station. When I turned around, she had vanished like a ghost. Then, a week later, the grocery store incident happened. I was just picking up some groceries when I saw her, disheveled and unwashed, staggering toward me. My heart sank as I looked for a quick escape. I reminded her of the court order and stepped back as she bustled towards me. A crowd began to form around us, and security approached us cautiously, trying to assess the dramatic scene before them. That's when she dropped to the floor and began sobbing uncontrollably about the non-existent baby. Her voice rose into a shriek as she tearfully assured me that she could break me from Emily's spell. She ignored security and continued ranting that she would not rest until she had saved me and we were together as we were always meant to be. I gripped the freezers for support, shock running through my body as I told one of the guards about the restraining order. They set me up in their break room and told me that they'd get me when help arrived. Police arrived quickly and guided her away in an ambulance. It was clear she was having a mental breakdown. A few days later, her lawyer contacted Emily and me. Sarah had been officially diagnosed with a delusional disorder. Apparently, she was on medication, but stopped taking it about 2 months ago when the obsession started. The plan was to move her out of state to live with her family. The lawyer begged me not to press additional charges, and we agreed to hold off while they were arranging her care. Final update. This will be my final update. Sarah was finally released from the hospital yesterday. The last time Emily and I saw her, she was being hurried into a car by 2 people who looked like her parents. She gave one final, vacant stare through the window at me. The fear I felt at first morphed into something more complex. Relief, sadness for a woman who had lost her mind, mourning for the trust one thought I had in my relationship, and gratitude for the chance to start over. Emily and I decided to move to a new town to start fresh, leaving behind the building, the memories, and the chaos. I won't lie. There's still a faint edge of fear when I hear a knock or a phone buzz from an unknown number. But for the first time in months, I feel a tentative hope. We're rebuilding slowly. We talk about the little things, movies, dinners, laughter that isn't forced. We keep separate beds for now, not out of distance, but for safety and peace of mind as we work through the trauma. And while scars, emotional and physical, remain, the storm that Sarah created is finally moving behind us. I still document everything, of course. Every text, every call, every suspicious move is backed up and saved. But the panic isn't constant anymore. The world feels less like it's pressing down on me, like I can finally breathe again. Sarah's gone, for now at least. But the experience changed me. It forced me to see how fragile safety and reputation can be when someone is willing to manipulate reality completely. And while I hope I never have to deal with anything like this again, I've learned that documenting, trusting the law, and holding on to the truth is the only way to survive when someone becomes delusional and dangerous. Emily and I are cautious, but we're trying to reclaim normalcy. I know I'll never take simple things for granted again. The ability to walk down the street without being followed, to sleep through the night, to go to work without fear. And in the quiet moments, I remind myself that we're alive, we're safe, and we have a chance to start over. That's enough for now. Thank you to everyone who listened and gave me genuine advice and support. You will never know how much you all have helped me through Hopefully, the craziest thing that will ever happen to me.